Food from Myanmar has been kind of closed off to the world for probably a generation. The international community hasn't been able to enjoy food from Myanmar or hasn't been able to understand or comprehend what the taste profile looks like.
There's a large ethnic group here that is from Myanmar in different regions, and so a cool way to highlight that for the community here.
I fled Myanmar in '96. We lived in a refugee camp in Thailand for a couple of years. My mother was very education focused, so she sent me to a region in Thailand called Kanchanaburi. So there I went to elementary school for 2 years, living with a family there. A couple of years after that, my mom really wanted to move to third country, and so she escaped the refugee camp, went to the front line, which is in Myanmar, to request my dad to leave his post. They went to Bangkok and applied for refugee asylum at the United Nations headquarters. And we lived in Bangkok for about a year. When we first came here, there was like 5 families here, you know, from the Burma diaspora. Having the Hmong community here, I think they went through that journey of having to flee their homeland, live in the refugee camp, and moving here. So they kind of paved the way. We didn't have much of a community. So I think the Hmong community helps us adjust to the Twin Cities easier, per se. Not only that, there's a lot of exiled diaspora here that grew up in Burma, having to flee to Thailand, and then having to move to a third country. So I wanted to create an experience, a food journey per se, that kind of tailored to that crowd. The simplest explanation that I could come up with is if you were to marry Indian food, Thai food, and even a little bit of Chinese food in there, then it's Burmese food, you know? I think we focus on all region and all cuisine, and then I think one specific group that we tend to highlight is the Shan. The Shan ethnic community. They're the ethnic Thai in Burma. And if you look back throughout history, you know, dishes like khao soi, which is a Thai chicken coconut staple, you know, that dish was created by the Shan ethnic group in Burma, you know. And so I think we highlight a lot of food from different region, but we specifically tend to focus on the Shan ethnic group and Burmese, a little bit of Burmese, yeah. Mandalay is rich in culture, food scene, it's beautiful. There's a lot of history that comes with it. And so we want to create an inclusive place for the community members here in the neighborhood. And so we just don't want to focus on just my ethnic identity, which is I'm Karen from Myanmar. We wanted to welcome every ethnic community members from the region. Mandalay Kitchen's not here to define what is Burmese food or Thai food. Our mission is not trying to chase for those flavor profile. I think our mission is just to highlight kids like me who have to grow up in Myanmar, not knowing my roots, having to flee to Thailand, and having to assimilate there, and then also having to move here. For us, it's basis of the experience of the kids that been through war, having to exile to a third country, highlighting what we enjoy eating, you know. And I think that's cool way of describing this place. I've kind of been eyeing on this building for a long time. So I signed the lease in July. Throughout that time, we were fundraising for the restaurant. In the Karen community, there's a lot of festival, football, soccer festival. And so I bought a sugarcane making machine, and I recruited Abby to shave the sugarcane skin. So we went around the Midwest selling sugarcane juice to fundraise for the restaurant. In the hot, scorching heat, yes. My mother was a huge inspiration. She basically was the person that made me fall in love with food. In Myanmar, she owned a little shop. They call her boss lady there. She was the only person that's able to go to Thailand, get a bulk of like all the goods, bring it back, and then like distribute it to different store in the jungle area in Burma. So she sold mohinga, which is a dish that we sell here. It's her recipe. She would put the broth on top of her head with noodles and would walk around town selling each bowl to different people. And so, yeah, she's my inspiration, and if not for her, I wouldn't be here. She's kind of hands off, you know, saying I got this. Like, she's a firm believer in me per se, and so, yeah, she's very receptive to whatever that I do. Just wanted her kids to pursue their passion, and it's her way of like living vicariously through me too, of the successes. I think she didn't get to experience that as a kid.
I'd say the most popular one is the tea leaf salad, or lepeko.
The dish is made out of fermented tea leaf. We have put two variations in the pounded version with seasonings and then the full tea leaf. And we mix it like with nuts of different sorts. And it's like, we marry it with like a little bit of tomato, citrus, parsley. And yeah, it's just been, the community's been super receptive to that dish. At first we thought they might not accept it due to the fermentation process and a lot of umami that's in there.
And I think you mentioned that Burma is one of the few countries that eats full tea leaf, so it's very unique.
Yeah. I feel like cultural representation is really important, especially for the young people, you know? I mean, food is rooted in identity, ethnicity, and so I think having a restaurant like this, I don't know, gives a lot of kids like, you know, a sense of like being proud. We give a lot of young entrepreneurs in the community space to have a platform up here. These are some of the clothing designs from a friend, jewelry design from another friend. On Thursday and Saturday, we have a pop-up donut shop. So there's a lot of people in the community that we give a space to, and I think it's very beneficial for them without having to, you know, rent or lease or do a startup cost. It's very just passion-driven. We've had young people that bring in friends, and you know, they want to introduce food to their community, and so they, I don't know, it's I can sense a lot of like proudness in them whenever they came here with like friends from outside communities.
Yeah, I think it's been cool to see the response from people who've never been to Burma and getting to introduce it, as well as people who have been there and they say it feels like their home and they get to have meals that they had back there, which is really cool.